Hello, Galaxy! I'm Chris Pirillo, and I was just checking to make sure you couldn't see my choice for the best console, the game console. Is there any other kind of console out there? I guess cars have consoles. I don't know if anybody ever does a whole best car console of a year, but I know they do best game consoles of the year, so I figured we would do this live. You're watching live. I wanted to make sure it was just off camera. I have it here inside a box, my choice for the best game console of 2017. And I'm doing this live because I figured, well, why not share our advice with one another and take the feedback from the community? So I've got my Discord chat behind me. You can join Discord chat by becoming a patron, patreon.com/Chris Pirillo, links in the video description, or a subscriber of mine on Twitch, twitch.tv/Chris Pirillo, link is in the video description. Also, make sure to put a link for the game console choice of 2017 in the video description for you. There's a lot in the video description, but there's even more in the video. We already have our first super chat from VT Productions PC. Thank you very much. He says, first, that's interesting, but I'm not sure if it really propels things forward apart from supporting this endeavor directly. Thank you for your support. There are so many game consoles to choose from, and it seems that no matter which store I walk into, there's a game console. Like, games are everywhere, and mind you, I see the array of games out there as kind of a dying breed. And I know this is going to be a controversial video. Heck, you know, the things that I think may be controversial to you. Because, hey, I got my opinions, you got yours. Here's the thing. My choice for a best game console for this year, or last year, or the year before that, is probably going to be different from yours. There's nothing wrong with that. So I am interested in hearing your choice, probably more than I am interested in sharing my choice. Because the reason I've arrived at my conclusion is different from yours. Eons ago, I did a sit-down interview with Linus Sebastian, and he suggested that game consoles were eventually going to go away. And I'm not sure if I see that happening in the next year. But if you think about it, and this is the problem, you need to think. Some people don't. I know you do, but some people choose not to think. A lot of the games that can be played don't need physical media. Most of the games out there don't need physical media. Most of the games out there are playable on a mobile device. One of these PCs. This computer. This is a console of sorts. I can play video games on this. You know, just because it doesn't require a physical keyboard doesn't mean that it's not a video game. Is there video? Yes. Is it a game? Yes. Well, then it's a video game, no matter what the platform happens to be. You know, I'm someone who is inclined to play on game consoles. I don't mind stepping away from a computer to be able to enjoy myself. I don't always enjoy myself in front of computers. I know you might, but I'm definitely not like you in that sense. Rob Madden, thank you for stepping up and doing another super chat. I realize that even this live broadcast, as I'm doing it on this particular channel, right before doing TLDR, the Locker Gnome Daily Report, and the other YouTube channel, youtube.com/LockerGnome, the time that I'm doing this is a little early compared to the time that I normally do live videos. So my choice for a best console isn't dictated necessarily by one game or two. It's definitely not dictated by, you know, the bleeding edge titles, like the titles that are set to be released over the next year, or looking and seeing on the store shelf how many games this system has and how many games that system has. That ultimately doesn't mean much to me in terms of me determining what's best and what I would care to talk about based on my experience with a great many game consoles. We do have another super chat. Ed Lex says, I have a PS4. I'm wondering if the Pro is worth it. That's a good question. I think if you already have a PS4, unless you want to get into you know the VR stuff and push 4K pixels across the screen, I don't know if I could necessarily justify personally upgrading my PS4 because you're not upgrading. It's not like, oh, I just attached this module and it's upgraded. No, you've got to get an entirely new system. No. I mean, my current system's nice. My current PS4 is the Darth Vader PS4. Got it with the Battlefront 1, the reboot in 2015. But I just don't know if I could sit here and say, yeah, absolutely upgrade. Now, if you're in the market, specifically for a PS4, I would say, yeah, try to save the extra cash and actually get the Pro. But from where I sit, no, absolutely not. I'm not one who upgrades those types of systems every year. In fact, my choice for best game console, I have not upgraded in possibly 3 years. It is entirely possible. It's been 3 years since I've last upgraded this console, this game console. I know I'm not trying to build suspension or anything, but well, I am kind of, anticipation. But the suspension, I guess it is. I'm keeping you in suspension, kind of. If you imagine yourself in kind of this liquid goo right now, that's where you're at, because you don't have my answer yet. We do have another super chat, not that I'm holding off intentionally. I want to get the feedback from the community. PS4 Pro is my choice, not a fan of the Xbox One, because the menus and the design of the software 360 was amazing before the upgraded OS. I guess I don't have a problem with how Xbox's software has been upgraded over the years. I also happen to have an Xbox One, not the Xbox One X, because again, I even though, mind you, the PS4 that I have and the Xbox One that I have are connected directly to a 4K TV. Like, I could play 4K games if I had the right game console, but I've already had conversations about, really not seeing the differences between 1080p and 4K. And I know there are absolute differences, and you can sit here and scream, but number one, I can't hear you, because that's not how video works. It's just a one-way conversation. But I'm glad we brought up these big players, because I figured you would. I figured, because that's what the war is about, right? It's PS4 versus Xbox One. I'm sitting here telling you you can have both, if you're lucky enough. My Xbox One was a review unit for Microsoft, and the PS4 Darth Vader edition was a sponsored device from go.tagjag.com/freepoints. So here's the thing. My choice for the best game console is something that I was not expecting I would want. I'm not going to sit here and say it was an impulse buy, but, I mean, if game consoles can be an impulse buy. But as I mentioned, I've played with these throughout the years, and for a while I was upgrading every single year, but there was always a few things that were holding me back. I feel that this current edition is the best edition that's been released, and they say that every year. But, like, seriously, for two different reasons that I'm about to show you. So can I get a drum roll, please? Can I get a drum roll? Okay, it's a virtual drum roll. No, not the SNES Mini. The Atari Flashback 8 Gold HD. So that's one reason why I went with it. Just one reason I went with that. It does have wireless controllers, but the value isn't in the wireless controllers necessarily, because you can also use classic wired controllers. We didn't have wireless way back in the day, so I still happen to have a vintage Atari joystick. It works. I also happen to have critical controllers, paddles. If you don't have paddles, you need to get paddles. And the nice thing is about the Flashback is that you can accommodate the original controllers right there. But the nice thing about the Flashback Gold is that it connects by way of HDMI. So you do get, 720p. It's not like 4K. I don't know. I think 4K would be overkill for these video games, but you get 120. That's the highest count in the Flashback series to date. In fact, I think the Atari Flashback 8 regular white box edition, I think tops out at like 108. So this is 120. You get 12 more games. The real reason, I know this is going to sound so odd, the real reason I got this, the true reason, yeah, look at all these games. This is not even all the games. They have loaded, it seems like, just about every Activision game I can't see them all listed here, but this is not all the list. It says and many more. I think it comes with like 14 more on top of this. But they've loaded it with Activision's ROMs, and that's something that they've tiptoed in previous years. But specifically, Mega Mania is on here, and that it's a fun game. It's a great game. It's not a perfect system. You can pick it up online. You may have to pay a premium because they're not readily available. But I thought for the price, yeah, it was absolutely worth it to be able to pick up, knowing full well that other people would certainly want these. So you have to be 15 years old, in case you're wondering, to play this game. If you're under 15 years old, which I realize is a majority of the YouTube population, you can't play the game. That's not true. I want to start playing this, and here's why. Number one, I grew up with it. Number two, the video, if you want to see the first time I ever saw Atari, that video's on YouTube. As a kid, we recorded a few Christmases, but you can actually see the first Atari 2600. And my mom thought it was a set of dishes. You can't hear her because you couldn't hear audio with video back in the day. So this is actually going to be under the tree. My family does know that I picked it up. I may actually, some people have been looking, hey, Chris, what can I get you for Christmas? And I said, don't worry about it. And then they said, no. I'm like, don't worry about it. And so they may actually pitch in to help make this cover the cost of this particular device. But I want to play it, and I want to have it around because I want some of Jedi's first video games that she plays with a very simple controller, a very simple joystick, one button. You don't need to be confused, right? Or the paddle, right? And she's going to see me playing Circus Atari, which only plays well with a paddle. Or maybe even Kaboom, which comes on here. And I loved that game as a kid. Didn't have most of these as a kid, unfortunately. But I do have The Empire Strikes Back. I just posted a picture of that cartridge on the Twitter account that I run, Star Wars Radar. There are like 48,000 fellow Star Wars fans who follow me there. In fact, let me see if I can pull it up. Don't know if it's a recent thing. Sorry, I should have better prepared. I wasn't expecting one of y'all to say The Empire Strikes Back, but it's true. So there's you can't really see it because the brightness is a little off, but I do happen to have, not my original, but the original Empire Strikes Back in-box cartridge. Showed it off before. But last year, or was it the year before that, we got the NES Classic. I've forgotten. But Diana really wanted the SNES Mini, the one that everyone else was suggesting would be my choice. Still possibly looking for one. I have no issue with it. I didn't grow up with it, and I want to get it for Diana because I want her to also kind of have these positive memories around the winter holiday season. You know, we're celebrating everything from the solstice to Christmas to Life Day. We celebrate all the holidays in the winter time. But this was a pleasant surprise yesterday. Yeah, as it shows here, it's the 40th anniversary. 2.4G wireless controllers, 720p HD output, and save, resume, and rewind games. So you can actually, I think, rewind by 10 seconds. So if you're playing a game and you mess up, you can rewind by 10 seconds. There's a rewind button, apparently, on one of the wireless controllers. It's kind of neat. I don't know. It sounds fun. Okay, so we've got a couple other super chats. I apologize there for skipping them. Just for your appreciation of your content. Thank you, Dan. I do appreciate it. I appreciate your appreciation. VT Productions PC says, PS4 is simple. You can find everything in one place. My brother's Xbox One. Hang on. Xbox One S, I couldn't find setting. Reminds me of Windows with settings here and there. Had to Google stuff. Yeah, VT, dude. Mario, listen to me. Go with this. No microtransactions. No pay to win. No gotchas. You get this. You get all of these games. Period. End of story. Like, the only thing not to like, if there was something not to like, is that it doesn't come with more games. So apparently we have now just tweeted out the link on the Locker Gnome account where you can get your own Atari Flashback Gold. Your own. Stay tuned. Maybe we'll get the SNES Mini. That may be a Christmas morning a fun thing for everybody. Diana would not. I wouldn't tell Diana that I got it ahead of time. It doesn't mean as much to to her as it does to me. She played a couple of the Atari games when we plugged in. I think it was a Flashback 6 was the last one that I talked about. I did a video on it actually years ago. Years and years ago. Someone asks, does it take old Atari 2600 cartridges? No, it does not. Just these buttons. Unfortunately, I wish it did. I really do, because that would be a lot of fun. It should. They probably don't want to increase tech support issues. The software that they use, too, may not be compatible with cartridges. I'm sure they could figure it out. It's technology. The software's not amazing, but, the gameplay has always been solid on the Flashbacks. I've used them before. These controllers, by the way, picked up with an original Atari 2600 console at a thrift store with a ton of cartridges. I was going to sell that console, but I realized, hey, wait, I need paddles. I got my paddles. Yeah! Woo! So that's my choice. The Atari Flashback 8 Gold is the one that you want. The one that you need. When you don't think that you need it. Like, right? Everyone's chasing for the new consoles. This is a new console. It's new this year. The Gold Edition. Gold is best. Like, this may be a surprise for your family. If this was under the tree. And maybe, you got other stuff coming down the pike. Maybe they already feel that they're satisfied with the games that they're playing. But I'm telling you, you have not lived until you've played these games. I refuse to believe you've lived. Because these are the games I grew up with. Frogger! It comes with Frogger. The Parker Brothers Frogger. It doesn't, to my knowledge, come with the Parker Brothers Empire Strikes Back. But maybe it does. No, they would probably have promoted it. That would be amazing if it did. Oh, amazing if it did. SNES Mini would hopefully equal Super Star Wars, etc. Yeah, but Ralph, it doesn't. And thank you, by the way, for the super chat. And I know we got another one there. I never grew up. I didn't grow up with the SNES Mini. I was in college by the time it was out. It was interesting. Carl B loves his SNES Mini. Nostalgia is a powerful thing. It is, and that's why I go to nostalgia. So years from now, you may sit there and say, well, I'm going to get the Xbox One Classic Edition, because you grew up with that. No, not for some of us. I really enjoy playing these games. I've purchased these games several times over throughout the years. I dreamed of, as I mentioned in the retro, what was it, the replay from Dream Arcades, a video that I did a little while ago. I mentioned that I've paid for these games several times over, and enjoy playing them on every particular console. But I always dreamed of a time that something like this would exist. That one console would have all the games in it, or one cartridge to rule them all. And so I say, for your holiday, for your year, go nostalgic. Go to an Atari Flashback. Go to, I don't know if they still make them. The Intellivision Flashback was made for a while. I think Coleco had one. Sega had one. See, I didn't grow up with those. I'm like, not as interested. The SNES Mini, if you can still find an NES Classic Edition, straight up NES, that, whatever game console you grew up with is my number one recommendation for the best console of the year 2017. I don't know if that really kind of threw you off, but I'm just being honest with everybody. Gotta be honest. I don't think that today's consoles are all that interesting. I said it. I have them. I play on them sometimes, but they're just not that interesting. They're not the consoles that I want to introduce to Jedi immediately. I would rather her see me play these games on a joystick. This is something that a child could easily handle, or an adult could easily handle. And granted, I'm sure children these days can handle 47 buttons on a controller, but just starting small, starting simple, starting with the classics. Do you know about the Star Wars plug-and-play games from 2005 and 2006? I do. I don't have them, though. So if I could find them at a good price, possibly at a thrift store, it may be fun to plug in and play. I've purchased those types of systems before, but nothing that I've seen that would make me want to spend the money on them. Like, for example, right now you can get like a Ms. Pac-Man plug and play. They use composite cables, or whatever the video composite cable is, instead of HDMI. A simpler connector. But it's like $20 for Ms. Pac-Man and some variations of Ms. Pac-Man. I'm like, the Atari Flashback 8 Gold comes with how many more games? Granted, not Miss Pac-Man, which I did enjoy playing on the 2600. Didn't enjoy Pac-Man on the 2600 at all. Still, everyone had it because it was Pac-Man way back in the day. It was a big deal to have the Atari Pac-Man, and it was not like the arcade version at all. So I'd like to get a hold of them if I could, but at this stage they're not directly on my radar. Maybe as Jedi gets older, I'm like, hey, we can try this. You can play this classic Star Wars game. You can play that classic Star Wars game. She'll kind of be my compass in terms of navigating those waters. Have I tried Atari 2600 emulation on Android? Well, Atari, I think, has their classics on Android. I don't know if Activision ported their app over to Android. I know they kind of let the Activision app for iOS fall to the wayside, which is really disappointing. But no, I didn't really... I didn't find myself playing the game so much on these mobile touchscreen devices because the controls I didn't think were all that accurate. I really feel I need a joystick. Like an actual joystick, wired or wireless. What does that Star Wars game look like? Is it kind of based off of the movie? No, it's not really based on the movie. Well, it kind of is, but it's very limited. I don't think I ever recorded gameplay of The Empire Strikes Back. If I could, work it out, I would for everybody. I'd have to get my console working again. Possibly, or get a hold of the Dreamcade replay. There are millions of ways of playing classic video games. Don't cheap out. Don't go the hacky route. Get something that's nice. Get something that looks nice. It has everything built in. It is simple, right? Go for something that's family friendly. Do you still have or use your arcade machine? I do. Not that often, but it is here in the Play Shop. Factor 5 is making Star Wars Rogue Squadron again for the Switch. Is this true? Have no idea. I still have the Star Wars plug-and-play games there on Amazon. I'd recommend getting them before they sell out and before they are impossible to get. Yeah, but it'll cost too much money. I'm not into spending too much money on this stuff. Even though it's Star Wars, admittedly, I'd have to look at the prices. Let me look at the prices. Let me determine whether or not I'd be willing to justify the cost. But if it's like around $20, too much. $10? Okay. And it's Star Wars, mind you, and I love Star Wars. Love Star Wars. And I love you too. I appreciate everybody tuning in, giving me your thoughts on the best console for 2017. I gave you my thoughts on the best console for 2017. Tomorrow, we'll talk about something else. Don't know what that's going to be yet. Possibly the best something else of 2017. Huh? You like that? You like talking about the best? I like talking about the best. You're the best. I am going to head off to the other channel right now. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for all the feedback. Thank you for the super chats. I am very, very appreciative of that as well. Actually, I've got 2 more live videos I've got to do today. One is TLDR, the Locker Gnome Daily Reports. And then the other one after that is Creator Advocate for fellow entrepreneurs and creators and freelancers, sharing my advice with them as I am prone to do. Remember to smash that like button. Well, don't smash your like button, please. Like just lightly tap it. Just gently, just very gently tap the like button. Don't smash it. I think that's not good advice, Steve, because if you smash, you could break the screen, then you get mad, and then I get this tweet from you saying, "I broke my like button because of you, man." So the topic is right now best game console. So thank you for keeping it focused. VT Productions PC says hopefully last. Well, thank you. I was not expecting a last minute super chat. I'm glad you squeaked it in there though. Whether or not it came with an actual squeak, I'm not sure. Did you squeak when you hit the super chat button? So hopefully no super chat wars at the tail end of this video. But thank you. It is helpful. It really is. You've helped make this a fun video, a better video. It's one of the reasons why I prefer to do live videos, is because I can have direct interaction with the community, whether you're in the real community in Discord or simply on YouTube chat with the rest of everybody. But thank you for saying, may the force be with me. May the force be with you. Okay, I have to do something. Give me a second. I have to do something. I just had to show it. Come on, you knew I had to show it. Like this. This is forget Battlefront. Who wants Battlefront? Battlefront is boring. Get this. Get the Empire Strikes Back. right? And many more, potentially. I don't know what else is going to come from Parker Brothers in the Flashback, but I'm just happy. I played Frogger. I like Frogger. Get yourself a real video game. This is a real video game right here. Thank you, VT Productions PC, for the super chats. Get a real video game, people. I love you. I appreciate you. At this point, I'm going to leave you to your own devices. May the Force be with you.